I feel very fortunate that I was able to interview David Crowe shortly before he died. He was host of the Infectious Myth podcast, which gave so many countless hours of educational entertainment to me during this time, this sad time when those of my profession are not allowed to practice their profession. His warnings about believing the hype of about infectious diseases sorely needed today, and he will be sorely missed. I grew up in the shadows of an infectious disease, and I saw how it could really change and dominate and hijack the narratives. Now looking back, it's ironic to me that the generation in the 60s that brought us a summer of love and then now occupies public positions in the US, they have gone full circle into being completely anti-sex, even trying to scare people, saying if you have sex you will die. I'm so thankful to God that I had a chance to interview David Crowe weeks, if not days, before his death, and one of his daughters put something on Facebook a few days ago, and it just breaks my heart. But we have the podcasts, we have the recordings, and if there's anything that the men in our community who have balls can do is to help republish and get his information out there. Give me 30 men in my village with courage, and we can change the world. It has to happen organically. There's no formulas. But for me, who I don't have a scientific background, I don't pretend to, but it was very inspiring to get to know somebody like David Crowe, who in the final weeks before he died, I started getting to know him, and we would visit online, and I consider him a friend. He was so approachable. But if there's anything that he shows to inspire is that you don't need to have a bunch of letters before or after your name to obtain a degree of scholarship about certain subjects. And once you delve into these things, the science is not that complicated. And I think that it's so important that we get a handle on these infectious diseases that really dominate the landscape to such an extent that whole economies are at risk. You know, I am right now broadcasting from Urdesa Norte in Guayaquil. My staying in the country depends on me having a job. I cannot practice my profession. We're not allowed to because the government is afraid of germs. I loved hearing David Crowe's interview with Dr. Andrew Kaufman, how they were talking about how there are other explanations for why people get sick. And having it always be the germ theory keeps us from cleaning our own house and from asking tough questions about the toxins in our environment. Now, David Crowe, he was so approachable. He would write to fans. He would, after they would write to him, answer questions. He encouraged the practice of what's called mirroring, where you republish somebody's stuff on a different format, in this case, his stuff, but you always source it and you always say where it can be found. So we're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks in honor of this great man whose mission is really more apposite and couldn't be more apt than what we're seeing today with the health circus. Now, I've started posting at BitChute, make no secret about that, due to the disciplinary actions I have received on this platform that we're on right now. So, as a disclaimer, I want to say this is all just part of my reality show, and it's comedy, and truth is stranger than fiction. But in many a yarn, in many a gag, also many a truth.